Welcome to How to Force Yourself to Take Action. This audiobook is for anyone who feels stuck, waiting for the right moment that never ends. We all have goals, dreams, and plans. We want better health, better grades, better relationships, or even a new career. Yet too often, we find ourselves thinking, planning, or wishing instead of doing. Days turn into weeks, and our dreams stay on paper, while life keeps moving forward. This audiobook will change that. Together we will explore why taking action is so hard, what stops us from starting, and how to break through the walls of fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. You will learn the science of motivation, the habits that lead to real progress, and the mental tools to stay focused even when you feel tired, scared, or unmotivated. Each chapter will give you practical ideas in simple language, so you can start using them right away. By the end of this journey, you will no longer wait for motivation to magically appear. You will know how to create it, control it, and use it to build the life you want. It is time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It is time to stop making excuses. It is time to force yourself to take action, because action is the only path to success, growth, and real change. Chapter 1. Why taking action matters. Everyone dreams about a better life. People talk about the things they want to achieve: a new skill, a better job, stronger health, more confidence, or even a big goal like starting a business. But between dreams and reality stands one thing: action. Without action, ideas stay trapped in our minds. They never become real. Taking action matters because it is the only way anything ever changes. A student who wants good grades must study. Not just think about studying. Someone who wants to be healthy must eat better and exercise, not only read about it. A person who wants friends must talk to people, not wait silently for others to come to them. Action is the bridge between wanting something and actually having it. People often believe they need to feel motivated before taking action. They wait for the perfect day when they feel ready, confident, and excited. But the truth is the opposite. Action creates motivation. When you start doing something, even a small step, your brain sees progress. Progress feels good, and that feeling creates energy to keep going. Waiting for motivation first is like waiting for the sun before turning on a light. You control the switch by acting first. Another reason action matters is that it teaches you things thinking never can. You can read 100 books about swimming, but you will never learn to swim until you get into the water. You can watch videos about public speaking, but you will never grow confident until you speak in front of people. Action gives you experience, and experience builds skill and confidence over time. Action also beats fear. Fear grows when you stand still, thinking about everything that could go wrong. The longer you wait, the bigger the fear becomes. But when you take action, fear begins to shrink, because your brain sees that the worst things you imagined often do not happen. Maybe people do not laugh when you speak. Maybe the project is not as hard as you thought. Step by step, action replaces fear with courage. Taking action also creates opportunities. When you move forward, you meet new people, learn new things, and discover chances you never imagined before. Someone applying for one job might get a better offer from another company simply because they started the process. A student joining a club might meet a mentor who changes their future. None of these things happen if you stay in the same place doing nothing. Action teaches responsibility too. When you take steps toward your goals, you see how your choices shape your results. If you work hard and improve, you feel proud because you earned it. If things fail, you learn lessons for next time. Either way, you grow stronger because you are in control of your effort instead of blaming luck, timing, or other people. Another powerful thing about action is momentum. Starting is often the hardest part, but once you begin, each step makes the next one easier. It is like pushing a heavy ball. At first it barely moves, but after a few pushes, it rolls faster and faster. Many people quit before they feel momentum. so they never experience how progress can become exciting, even addictive, once it begins. Action also builds habits, and habits create lasting change. Anyone can try something once. The real results come from repeating small actions until they become part of daily life. Writing 1 page a day becomes a book in a year. Exercising 10 minutes a day becomes fitness in a few months. Saving a little money regularly becomes financial security over time. Habits start with action, not intention. Taking action matters in relationships too. If you want to be closer to family or friends, you must call, visit, and spend time together. Love and friendship grow through shared experiences, not silent wishes. Even mistakes matter less than people think. Many people fear taking action because they might fail, but failure while acting teaches more than endless planning without risk. A writer with 10 imperfect stories learns more than someone who waits years for the perfect idea before writing. Every mistake shows what works and what does not, leading to smarter action next time. Taking action also improves self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, like studying when you said you would, or exercising even when tired, you feel stronger inside. Confidence grows not from talking about goals, but from proving to yourself that you can move toward them every day. In the end, action creates results: learning, courage, opportunities, habits, and confidence. It turns dreams into reality and ideas into achievements. Without action, even the best plans stay empty. With action, even small efforts grow into big changes over time. In the next chapter, we will look at why people avoid action even when they know it matters. You will discover the psychology of procrastination and learn why the mind sometimes chooses comfort over progress. Understanding this is the first step to breaking free and moving forward. Everyone knows the feeling of having something important to do, but somehow not doing it. A student has homework, but instead of starting, they watch videos or scroll through their phone. Someone plans to exercise but keeps saying, "I'll start tomorrow," until weeks pass. This habit of delaying important tasks is called procrastination, and it happens to almost everyone at some point. But why do people procrastinate, even when they know it hurts them? The answer lies in the way our minds work. The human brain is designed to avoid pain and seek comfort. Long ago, this helped people survive. If something felt scary or difficult, avoiding it often kept them safe. But in today's world, the same instinct can work against us. Writing an essay or preparing for an exam is not dangerous, but the brain treats it as uncomfortable and tries to escape it. Procrastination happens when the short-term desire for comfort beats the long-term goal of success. At the moment, relaxing feels better than working. Watching TV brings instant pleasure, while studying brings results only after days or weeks. The brain loves quick rewards, so it chooses the easy thing now even if it causes stress later. Another reason for procrastination is fear. Some people delay tasks because they worry they might fail. If they never start, they never have to face the chance of doing badly. Others fear success because success can bring pressure to keep performing well. Either way, fear freezes action, making people feel stuck. Perfectionism also causes procrastination. Perfectionists want everything to be flawless, so they wait for the perfect time, the perfect idea, or the perfect plan before starting. But perfection never comes, so nothing ever begins. Ironically, waiting for perfect results creates no results at all. Sometimes procrastination comes from confusion. If a task feels too big or complicated, people do not know where to start. Writing a whole book feels overwhelming, so they keep putting it off instead of writing a single page. Breaking tasks into small steps often helps because the brain feels less pressure when the job looks simple. Low energy or lack of focus can also lead to procrastination. When people feel tired, hungry, or distracted, they naturally choose easy entertainment over hard work. That is why healthy habits like sleeping well, eating properly, and exercising actually reduce procrastination. A strong body supports a strong mind. Procrastination is not always about laziness. In fact, many procrastinators feel stressed, guilty, and frustrated while avoiding work. They are not enjoying their free time because they know they should be doing something else. This stress makes them feel even worse, creating a cycle where guilt leads to more delay instead of action. Scientists have studied this cycle and found that the brain reacts strongly to immediate emotions. If a task feels boring, scary, or unpleasant, the brain wants to escape those feelings now, even if finishing the task would bring happiness later. This is why people say, "I work better under pressure." The closer the deadline gets, the stronger the emotion of fear becomes, finally forcing them to act. But this last-minute work often brings anxiety and lower quality results. Breaking the cycle starts with understanding it. When you notice yourself procrastinating, ask, "What am I feeling right now?" Maybe it is boredom, fear, or confusion. Naming the feeling helps you see the real problem. Then you can solve it directly instead of just blaming yourself for being lazy. For example, if the problem is boredom, you can make the task more interesting by turning it into a challenge or setting a timer to race against yourself. If the problem is fear of failure, you can remind yourself that mistakes teach you things, and that starting small is better than not starting at all. If the problem is confusion, you can break the task into tiny, clear steps until the first step feels easy. Rewarding yourself for small progress also helps. The brain loves rewards, so giving yourself a short break or a treat after finishing part of the work makes action feel satisfying instead of painful. Over time, the brain begins to connect action with good feelings, reducing the urge to delay. Understanding procrastination is important because it shows that waiting for motivation does not work. Motivation often comes after starting, not before. When you take the first step, even a small one, your brain feels progress, and progress creates energy to keep going. In the next chapter, we will explore the science of motivation itself. You will learn how motivation really works, why it disappears sometimes, and how to create it on purpose so you can keep taking action even when you do not feel like it. Chapter 3. The Science of Motivation. Motivation is the invisible force that pushes people to start, keep going, and finally reach their goals. When motivation is high, even hard tasks feel possible. When it is low, even simple things feel heavy. Many people think motivation is like magic. It comes when it wants and disappears without warning. But scientists have discovered that motivation follows clear patterns, and understanding these patterns can help anyone create and control their own drive to take action. Motivation often starts with a goal. The brain likes goals because they give direction. Imagine getting in a car without knowing where to go. You would waste time and fuel driving in circles. A goal works like a map, telling the brain where to focus energy. But not all goals motivate equally. Goals that feel too big or too far away often create stress instead of excitement. The brain needs goals that feel clear and reachable, at least in small steps, so progress feels possible. One powerful part of motivation is called the reward system. Deep inside the brain is a chemical called dopamine. People often call it the feel-good chemical, but really, it is the motivation chemical. Dopamine rises not when you get a reward, but when you expect one. Thinking about the good result that will come after action makes the brain release dopamine, creating excitement and energy to move forward. This is why imagining success can be helpful. A runner picturing themselves crossing the finish line feels a surge of energy before even starting the race. A student imagining the pride of getting a good grade feels more motivated to study. The brain begins to work toward the future it sees in advance. But the brain also needs quick rewards along the way. If a goal takes months to reach, motivation can fade because the brain wants to feel progress sooner. This is why breaking big goals into small steps works so well. Each small win gives a hit of dopamine, keeping motivation alive until the final goal is reached. Another important factor in motivation is purpose. People feel more energy when they believe their actions matter. Studying feels easier when students connect it to their dream career. Exercising feels meaningful when people connect it to living longer for their families. Without purpose, tasks feel empty and motivation fades quickly. Motivation also grows when people feel control. When someone chooses their own goals, they work harder than when goals are forced on them. This is called autonomy. A person who decides to wake up early for fitness feels more motivated than someone ordered to do it by others because the choice feels personal. Emotion plays a big role too. Positive emotions like excitement, curiosity, or pride boost motivation. Negative emotions like fear or shame sometimes push people to act, but often create stress that makes action harder over time. This is why encouragement usually works better than criticism for lasting motivation. Environment shapes motivation as well. A messy room, loud noises, or constant distractions drain energy. A clean space, supportive people, and tools ready for work make action easier. The brain likes environments where focus feels natural instead of forced. One surprising fact about motivation is that it often comes after starting, not before. People wait to feel ready before taking action, but scientists show that action itself triggers motivation. When you start a task, even for a few minutes, the brain begins releasing dopamine because it senses progress. This creates a loop. Action builds motivation, which creates more action, which builds even more motivation. This is why the 5-minute rule helps many people. They promise themselves to work for just 5 minutes. Once they start, momentum grows, and they often keep going much longer because motivation kicks in after action begins. Habits connect deeply with motivation too. Doing something at the same time each day trains the brain to expect it. Over time, the habit needs less mental energy because it becomes automatic. A person who always studies after dinner soon feels strange if they skip it because the brain has wired the routine into its system. However, motivation naturally rises and falls. No one feels highly motivated every day. That is normal. The secret is to keep acting even on low motivation days. Small actions maintain progress until motivation returns. Waiting for perfect energy or mood only leads to procrastination. The most successful people design their lives to support motivation instead of depending on willpower alone. They set clear goals, break them into steps, create positive environments, reward progress, and connect everything to a bigger purpose. Motivation becomes less about feelings and more about systems that make action easier than inaction. In the next chapter, we will talk about fear and self-doubt, the two biggest enemies of action. You will learn how fear tricks the brain into staying still, how self-doubt steals confidence, and most importantly, how to break through both, so you can move forward even when you feel scared inside. Chapter 4: Overcoming Fear and Self-Doubt. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people do not take action. It hides behind excuses, waiting for the right time, or endless planning. Fear whispers questions like, "What if I fail?" or "What will people think?" Sometimes fear even pretends to protect us, telling us to stay safe and avoid risk. But the truth is that most of the things we fear are not life-threatening. They are feelings: fear of embarrassment, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, or fear of not being good enough. Self-doubt makes fear even stronger. It is the voice inside that says, "You can't do this," or "You are not ready," or "Other people are better than you." Self-doubt keeps people waiting until they feel perfectly confident before starting. But confidence does not come first. It comes after you take action, after you prove to yourself that you can survive mistakes, learn and improve. Fear and self-doubt often exaggerate reality. They make small problems look huge in our minds. A student worries that asking a question in class will make everyone laugh, even though most classmates probably have the same question. A person fears failing a test so much that they avoid studying, which actually makes failure more likely. Fear creates the very problems it wants to prevent. One way to beat fear is to face it in small steps. Psychologists call this exposure. If public speaking scares you, start by talking in front of a mirror. Then speak to one friend. then a small group. Each step shows your brain that nothing terrible happens, and fear slowly shrinks. Courage grows through practice, not waiting. Another way is to focus on learning instead of perfection. Many people freeze because they want to do everything perfectly the first time. But mistakes are part of learning. A baby falls many times before walking. No one expects them to get it right immediately. Adults forget this and expect perfection from themselves. Changing the goal from be perfect to get better removes pressure and makes action easier. Self-doubt often comes from comparing yourself to others. Social media makes this worse because people only share their best moments online. It looks like everyone else is smarter, happier, or more successful, but you see only the highlight reel, not the struggles behind it. Comparing your whole life to someone's best moments is unfair. The only fair comparison is between your past self and your present self. Are you improving? That is what matters. Positive self-talk helps too. The brain believes the messages it hears repeatedly. If you keep saying, "I can't do this," your brain will look for proof that it is true. If you say, "I'm learning, I'm improving, I can handle this," your brain will start to believe that instead. Words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape actions. Preparation reduces fear as well. People fear the unknown. The more you prepare, the less unknown there is. A student who studies well before a test feels less anxious. A person who practices before a presentation feels more confident. Action itself creates readiness. It also helps to remember past successes. Fear makes people forget the times they handled challenges before. Writing down moments when you were brave or achieved something difficult reminds you that you can do hard things again. Sometimes fear comes from imagining the worst outcome. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? Most of the time the answer is not as bad as your feelings suggest. Then ask, what is the best that could happen if I try? Focusing on possible success creates excitement instead of fear. Surrounding yourself with supportive people matters too. Friends, teachers, or mentors who encourage you can replace self-doubt with belief. Being around negative people who criticize or mock can make fear louder. Choose voices that lift you up, not pull you down. Finally, action itself is the best cure for fear and self-doubt. Thinking too much gives fear time to grow. Taking the first small step gives courage time to grow instead. Each time you act, despite fear, you teach your brain that you are stronger than your doubts. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward even while afraid. In the next chapter, we will explore how to turn action into a daily habit. You will learn how small routines create big results and how habits remove the need for constant willpower, so taking action becomes part of who you are. Chapter 5. Building Daily Action Habits. Success rarely comes from one big effort. It comes from small actions repeated every day until they become part of life. Habits are powerful because they remove the need for constant motivation. When something becomes a habit, you do it automatically, like brushing your teeth or locking the door when you leave the house. Building daily action habits turns important tasks into natural routines instead of constant battles with procrastination or fear. Habits begin with small steps. Many people fail because they start too big. They decide to exercise for an hour every day after months of doing nothing. They study for 5 hours straight after weeks of avoiding homework. Big changes feel exciting at first, but often collapse because they are too heavy to carry every day. Small habits last longer because they fit easily into life. 10 minutes of exercise daily can grow into an hour later. Writing 1 page a day can become a whole book over time. The brain learns habits through repetition. Each time you repeat an action, you strengthen the connection in your brain that controls it. At first, new habits feel awkward because the brain is building a new pathway. With practice, the pathway becomes stronger until the habit feels automatic. Scientists call this rewiring the brain, and it explains why consistency matters more than intensity at the start. Habits also grow stronger when connected to triggers. A trigger is something that reminds you to act. For example, brushing your teeth after breakfast becomes a habit because breakfast triggers the action. If you want to build a study habit, you can connect it to something you already do, like studying right after dinner every day. The trigger tells your brain, it's time for this activity now. Another secret of habits is environment. If your phone distracts you every time you try to read, put it in another room. If you want to eat healthy snacks, keep them visible and hide junk food. Make good habits easy to start and bad habits harder to do. The brain follows the path of least resistance, so shape your surroundings to help you act. Tracking habits creates motivation too. A calendar where you mark each day you complete your habit shows visible progress. Seeing a chain of completed days makes you want to keep going because you do not want to break the chain. This simple trick turns small actions into satisfying achievements. Rewards help habits stick as well. The brain loves rewards, even small ones. Listening to music while exercising, drinking your favorite tea while studying, or watching a short video after finishing a task teaches your brain to connect action with pleasure instead of pain. Over time, the habit itself becomes rewarding because progress feels good. Another powerful strategy is starting tiny. If reading for 30 minutes feels too hard, promise yourself to read for just 2 minutes. 2 minutes feels so easy that you cannot say no. Once you start, you often keep going longer because the hardest part was simply beginning. This is called the gateway habit because small starts open the door to bigger actions. Habits also survive better when you plan for bad days. Life brings illness, stress, or unexpected events that break routines. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for consistency. If you cannot exercise for an hour, do 5 minutes. If you cannot write a whole page, write 1 sentence. Small efforts keep the habit alive until life feels normal again. Identity plays a big role too. People who see themselves as someone who exercises or someone who studies daily keep habits longer because the habit becomes part of who they are. Each action is a vote for the person you want to become. Missing one day does not destroy the habit, but each day you act strengthens your identity as someone who takes action. Building habits also requires patience. The brain needs time to rewire itself. Some people expect habits to feel easy after a week, but research shows it often takes 2 to 3 months for a habit to feel automatic. That is why small, sustainable steps work better than big, exhausting efforts that burn out quickly. The real power of daily action habits is momentum. Each small action builds energy for the next one. A person who studies for 10 minutes today may study for 20 tomorrow because progress feels good. A person who exercises lightly at first may naturally push harder as fitness grows. Momentum turns discipline into desire because success creates motivation to continue. Habits free people from the trap of waiting for willpower or inspiration. When action becomes automatic, you no longer ask, "Do I feel like it today?" You simply do it, the same way you brush your teeth without debating it every morning. Habits turn action into a normal part of life instead of a special effort that depends on mood or energy. In the next chapter, we will explore how small wins create big change. You will see why celebrating progress, even tiny steps, keeps motivation alive and builds the confidence to reach bigger goals over time. Chapter 6. The Power of Small Wins. People often believe that success comes from huge efforts, giant leaps, and dramatic changes. They imagine one perfect day when everything transforms at once, but real change almost never happens that way. Real change grows slowly through small wins that build confidence, energy, and momentum over time. A small win is any little progress you make toward a bigger goal. It might be finishing the first paragraph of an essay, walking for 10 minutes, or cleaning one corner of a messy room. The action itself may feel too small to matter, but small wins create a chain reaction. Each one makes the next step easier, the goal clearer, and your confidence stronger. The human brain loves progress. When you achieve even a tiny goal, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical connected to motivation and pleasure. This small burst of happiness makes you want to keep going. That is why people feel good after crossing items off a checklist or closing a completed book chapter. Progress feels rewarding, and that feeling fuels more progress. Small wins also break the cycle of procrastination. Many people avoid big tasks because they feel overwhelming. Writing an entire book seems impossible, so they do nothing. But writing one page today feels manageable. After a few days, they have several pages, then a whole chapter, and eventually a book. Starting small removes fear because the first step feels safe and easy. Confidence grows the same way. People do not wake up suddenly believing in themselves. Confidence comes from proof, from seeing yourself take action and succeed little by little. Each small win tells your brain, "I can do this." Over time, these moments add up to a strong belief in your ability to handle bigger challenges. Small wins also teach important lessons. A student solving one math problem learns something that helps with the next problem. An athlete improving their speed by 1 second gains insight into training methods. Each small step provides feedback so you can adjust and improve before moving to bigger goals. Another secret power of small wins is momentum. Once you start moving forward, even slowly, stopping feels harder than continuing. This is why people who exercise lightly at first often begin to enjoy it and push harder over time. Success creates motivation because your brain wants to keep the streak alive. Celebrating small wins matters too. Many people ignore their progress because they only focus on the final goal. They think, "I will feel proud when I lose all the weight," or "I will be happy when the project is complete." But waiting until the end makes the journey feel long and discouraging. Celebrating small wins gives you energy now, not just later. Small wins also make failure less scary. If you take one giant leap and fail, it feels like falling from a tall building. But if you take small steps, one mistake is just a small bump in the road. You learn, adjust, and keep going without losing everything. This is why successful people often talk about failing fast and learning quickly. They take small steps, learn from each one, and keep moving forward. Relationships grow through small wins as well. A single kind word, a short message, or a quick visit may not seem like much, but these little actions build trust and closeness over time. Friendships and families stay strong through daily moments of care, not just big events or gifts. Small wins also help when motivation is low. On difficult days, you may not feel like working hard, but you can still do something tiny. Write one sentence, read one page, take one short walk. These small actions keep the habit alive until energy and motivation return. The real magic of small wins is how they change your identity. Each little success tells you that you are the kind of person who takes action. After finishing one workout, you start seeing yourself as someone who exercises. After studying a few minutes every day, you start seeing yourself as a disciplined student. Identity built through small wins lasts longer than motivation built on big bursts of effort. Over time, small wins create big results. 10 minutes of reading a day becomes many books in a year. Saving a little money each week becomes financial security. Speaking a few sentences in a new language daily becomes fluency. The process feels slow at first, but one day you look back and realize how far you have come. In the next chapter, we will explore time management secrets for action takers. You will learn how to organize your day, focus on what matters most, and avoid wasting time so that small wins can keep building into bigger success.
Chapter 7: Time Management Secrets for Action Takers.
Time is the one resource every person has in equal amounts. Each day gives you 24 hours, no more and no less. Yet some people achieve amazing things while others feel busy but go nowhere. The difference is not the number of hours but how they are used. Learning to manage time well turns ordinary days into powerful tools for progress. The first secret of time management is clarity. Many people waste time because they are not clear about what matters most. They work on small, easy tasks because they feel urgent, while ignoring big, important goals that actually shape their future. Writing down priorities each day gives your brain a clear map. When you know the 3 most important things to finish, you focus better instead of scattering energy everywhere. Another secret is breaking large tasks into small steps. A big project feels heavy, like trying to eat a whole meal in one bite. Dividing it into small pieces makes it less scary and helps you start sooner. Each small step finished on time builds confidence and keeps the project moving forward. Scheduling your day also creates structure. People who leave tasks for whenever I have time often find that time never comes. Setting specific times for studying, exercising, or working turns vague goals into real appointments. When something is on the calendar, it feels more serious, and you are more likely to respect it. But schedules must be realistic. Many people plan every hour tightly, then feel frustrated when life interrupts. Good time management includes buffer time for surprises. Leaving small gaps between tasks keeps stress low when things take longer than expected. Another powerful tool is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This keeps small tasks from piling up and stealing attention from bigger goals later. Time management also requires knowing your energy levels. Some people focus best in the morning, others at night. Doing the most important work during your peak energy hours gives better results in less time. Less demanding tasks can wait for lower energy times. Avoiding distractions may be the hardest secret. Phones, notifications, and social media steal hours from people who think they are only taking a quick break. Turning off alerts, keeping the phone in another room, or using apps that block distractions helps you stay in control. Every interruption costs focus, and regaining that focus takes longer than most people realize. Rest is also part of good time management. Working non-stop leads to fatigue, mistakes, and eventually burnout. Short breaks between focused work sessions refresh the brain. Techniques like working for 25 minutes and resting for 5, called the Pomodoro method, keep energy and attention sharp throughout the day. Learning to say no is another secret. Many people stay busy instead of productive because they say yes to everything. Time spent on low-value activities leaves little time for meaningful goals. Politely refusing tasks that do not match your priorities protects your schedule for things that matter. Batching similar tasks together saves time too. Answering all emails at once instead of checking them every few minutes reduces mental switching. Preparing meals for several days at the same time prevents daily cooking stress. Grouping tasks cuts wasted minutes that add up to hours each week. Reviewing your time regularly shows where it goes. Writing down how you spend one full day often reveals surprises. People think they have no time, then discover hours lost to aimless scrolling or unplanned distractions. Awareness brings control because you cannot improve what you do not measure. Finally, time management is not about filling every minute with work. It is about using time wisely so you have space for rest, relationships, and fun too. A well-managed day feels balanced, not rushed, because important things get done without ignoring life's joys. In the next chapter, we will explore how to destroy distractions completely so your focus becomes unshakable and your actions unstoppable. Chapter 8: How to Destroy Distractions. Distractions are everywhere. Phones buzz with notifications, social media sends endless updates, videos, games, and messages all fight for attention every minute. Even at school or work, noise, people, and random thoughts steal focus. When attention keeps breaking, action slows down. Learning how to destroy distractions is the only way to get real work done in today's busy world. The first step to beating distractions is understanding how they work. The human brain loves novelty. Every beep, flash, or pop-up feels like something new, and the brain releases a little dopamine each time. That is why checking a phone feels rewarding even when nothing important is happening. But constant novelty trains the brain to expect quick excitement instead of deep focus. One solution is controlling the environment. People who keep phones nearby often check them without thinking. Putting the phone in another room or turning on Do Not Disturb mode removes the temptation. The fewer notifications you see, the less your brain feels pulled away. Another strategy is creating a focus zone. A quiet, clean space with only the materials you need for work tells your brain, this is where we focus. A messy room filled with distractions sends the opposite signal. The environment shapes attention more than most people realize. Time blocking also helps destroy distractions. When you decide, for the next 30 minutes I will only do this task, you give your brain clear instructions. During that block, all other activities wait. Knowing there is a break coming soon makes it easier to ignore distractions for now. Digital tools can both cause and solve problems. Apps that block social media or websites during work hours remove temptation entirely. Timers that track focus sessions make work feel like a game where you score points for staying on task. Technology can serve you if you control it instead of letting it control you. But not all distractions come from outside. Some come from inside the mind. Daydreams, worries, and random thoughts can break focus even in a silent room. Writing down distracting thoughts on paper tells the brain, I won't forget this, but I'll deal with it later. This simple trick clears mental space for the task at hand. Energy levels matter too. A tired brain gets distracted more easily. Sleep, healthy food, and exercise keep the mind alert. Short breaks between work sessions prevent mental fatigue, which often makes people wander toward distractions instead of staying focused. Another powerful habit is starting tasks quickly. The longer you delay starting, the more time distractions have to pull you away. Beginning within 5 minutes of sitting down creates momentum before boredom or temptation appears. Multitasking is one of the biggest lies about productivity. People think doing many things at once saves time, but switching between tasks actually wastes energy. The brain takes several minutes to refocus after each switch. Doing one thing at a time, finishing it, then moving to the next task gets better results in less time. Clear goals help destroy distractions too. When you know exactly what to finish in the next hour, it is easier to stay focused. Vague plans like study later leave space for distractions to sneak in. Specific goals like read chapter 3 by 5 p.m. give the brain a clear target. Accountability reduces distractions as well. Telling a friend your goal or working in a quiet group where everyone focuses creates gentle pressure to stay on task. People work harder when someone else will see the results. Finally, rewards make focus fun. Promising yourself a short break, a snack, or some music after finishing a task gives the brain something to look forward to. The mind handles hard work better when it knows a reward is coming soon. When distractions disappear, focus grows stronger. Work takes less time because the brain stays on one path instead of starting and stopping repeatedly. Success builds faster because each task finishes with full attention instead of half effort. In the next chapter, we will explore how accountability and taking responsibility push people to stay consistent, finish what they start, and keep moving forward even when motivation fades. Chapter 9. Accountability and taking responsibility. One of the main reasons people fail to take action is that no one expects them to finish. When you keep goals private, it becomes easy to delay them because no one will know if you quit. Accountability changes that. Accountability means someone else knows about your goal and will check whether you finish it. This simple step can turn intentions into real results. Think about a student who studies alone versus a student who joins a study group. The first student can skip a session without anyone noticing. The second student feels responsible because others expect them to show up. Accountability creates gentle pressure to act even when you do not feel like it. Responsibility goes even deeper. It means admitting that your success or failure depends mostly on you. Many people blame time, luck, or other people for their lack of progress. But blaming gives away your power. Taking responsibility means saying, I control my actions, and my actions create my results. This mindset feels scary at first because you cannot hide behind excuses. But it also feels powerful because you realize change starts with you. Accountability can come from many places. Friends, family members, teachers, or mentors can all help. Some people share their goals online or join communities where everyone reports progress. Others hire coaches or partners who track their efforts closely. The form does not matter as much as the feeling that someone else cares about whether you act. Deadlines create accountability too. A goal with no date stays a dream. A goal with a deadline becomes real. Saying I will start exercising is vague. Saying I will run 3 times this week creates a clear standard to measure. Deadlines push people to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start now. Public promises increase accountability even more. When you tell others about your goal, you feel social pressure to keep your word. This pressure works because people naturally want to appear reliable. Breaking a promise feels uncomfortable, so you work harder to keep it. Some people use accountability partners. 2 people share goals and check on each other regularly. When one person struggles, the other encourages them to continue. Knowing someone else will ask about your progress keeps you moving forward even on lazy days. Technology offers tools too. Apps can track habits, send reminders, or share progress with friends. Online groups with similar goals create communities where people celebrate wins and push each other through setbacks. But accountability only works when combined with personal responsibility. If you rely only on others to push you, you may quit when they stop watching. Responsibility means acting even when no one else sees because you know your life depends on your choices. Taking responsibility also means learning from mistakes instead of hiding them. Everyone fails sometimes. Responsible people admit failure, study what went wrong, and try again with better strategies. Irresponsible people make excuses, blame others, and repeat the same errors. Responsibility changes identity too. When you see yourself as someone who keeps promises, you feel proud. Each time you act on your word, your confidence grows because you trust yourself more. Self-trust is powerful. It means believing you will do what you say, even when it is hard. Accountability and responsibility together create discipline. Discipline is the ability to keep going, whether you feel motivated or not. Motivation starts actions, but discipline finishes them. Many people fail because they wait for motivation every day. Disciplined people act because they said they would, not because they always feel like it. In the next chapter, we will explore the difference between discipline and motivation. You will see why motivation starts the fire, but discipline keeps it burning until goals become reality. Chapter 10. The role of discipline versus motivation. Motivation often gets all the attention when people talk about taking action. Social media is full of quotes, speeches, and videos designed to make people feel motivated. Motivation feels exciting. It gives energy, hope, and a sense of possibility. But there is a problem. Motivation does not last. Some days you wake up ready to conquer the world, and other days you cannot even get out of bed on time. If you depend only on motivation, your progress will rise and fall like a roller coaster. Discipline is different. Discipline is the ability to act even when you do not feel like it. It is less exciting than motivation, but far more reliable. Motivation is like the spark that lights a fire. Discipline is the wood that keeps the fire burning long after the spark fades. Both matter. But discipline decides whether goals survive beyond the first burst of energy. Think about students who start the school year full of motivation. They promise themselves to study daily, exercise, and stay organized. By the middle of the semester, Many of them lose motivation. Homework piles up, tests feel stressful, and they feel tired. Only the students with discipline keep going because they built habits that work even on low-energy days. Discipline grows from decisions, not feelings. Motivated people act when they feel inspired. Disciplined people act because they said they would. They treat goals like promises, not suggestions. This is why athletes train on cold mornings, writers write on boring afternoons, and musicians practice even when they feel lazy. Discipline turns action into routine instead of waiting for perfect moods. One way to build discipline is through structure. A clear schedule removes the daily question, should I do this now or later? If the plan says study at 5 p.m., there is no debate. Each day follows the same pattern until action becomes automatic. Another way is through small rules. For example, I will exercise for at least 5 minutes every day. 5 minutes feels too easy to skip. Once you start, you often continue longer, because starting was the hardest part. Small rules build consistency, and consistency builds discipline. Discipline also grows from identity. When you see yourself as someone who keeps promises, you want to live up to that image. Each day you follow through, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. Over time, you feel proud of being disciplined, and pride strengthens the habit even more. Rewards matter too. Discipline does not mean living without fun. It means earning fun after action instead of before. Watching a show feels better after finishing homework than while avoiding it. Rest feels sweeter after a hard workout than after hours of doing nothing. Rewards teach the brain that discipline brings pleasure, not punishment. Discipline even protects motivation. People who wait for motivation often feel guilty when they do nothing. That guilt kills motivation for the next day too. Disciplined people act first, feel proud afterward, and then feel more motivated because progress creates energy. Action leads to motivation, not the other way around. Over time, discipline creates freedom. At first, routines feel strict, like rules limiting your day. But as habits form, you spend less time fighting procrastination or making excuses. Your mind feels clearer because action happens automatically. You gain free time because tasks finish on schedule instead of piling up at the last minute. Motivation will always have a role. It makes beginnings easier and brings excitement to big dreams. But discipline decides whether you reach those dreams. Discipline carries you through boredom, fear, and low-energy days when motivation disappears. Together they work best. Motivation starts the journey, and discipline finishes it. In the next chapter, we will explore how confidence grows through action. You will see why waiting for confidence never works, and how each step you take makes the next one easier, stronger, and braver. Chapter 11. Building confidence through action. Many people believe confidence comes first and action comes later. They wait to feel ready before starting a new project, speaking in public, or trying something difficult. But real life works the opposite way. Confidence does not appear out of nowhere. It grows through action, step by step, as you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. No one feels confident the first time. You wobble, fall, and maybe get scared. But each time you try again, you get better. The more you practice, the steadier you become. And one day you ride without thinking about balance at all. Confidence comes because action shows you that you can succeed, not because someone tells you to be confident. Action teaches the brain important lessons. It shows that fear often exaggerates danger. A student afraid to speak in class might finally raise their hand and realize no one laughs. Someone nervous about joining a sports team might discover the coach is friendly and teammates are supportive. Each small success rewrites the brain's story from I can't to I can. Confidence also grows from preparation. People feel nervous when they are unprepared because uncertainty creates fear. A singer who practices daily feels more confident on stage than someone who sings only once in a while. A student who studies regularly feels calmer during exams than someone who crams the night before. Preparation turns fear into readiness because action before the event reduces anxiety during the event. Another key is keeping promises to yourself. When you set a goal and actually follow through, you build self-trust. You start believing in your own words. Each completed task whispers to your brain, "See, you did what you said you would." Over time, this trust becomes confidence because you have proof that you can rely on yourself. Confidence also comes from progress, not perfection. Many people wait until they are perfect before feeling proud, so they never feel proud at all. But celebrating small wins along the way keeps energy and belief alive. Writing one page of a book, running 1 mile, or learning 10 new words in a language may seem small, but each step forward strengthens confidence because it shows growth. Facing fear directly builds confidence too. The first time is always the hardest because the unknown feels bigger than it really is. Speaking to a small group today makes speaking to a larger group tomorrow easier. Running a short distance now makes a longer distance later feel possible. Confidence grows like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Helping others also boosts confidence. Teaching someone what you know or encouraging a friend facing fear reminds you how much you have learned. When you support others, you hear yourself giving advice and realize you believe it for yourself too. Failure, surprisingly, can build confidence as well. When you fail but survive, you learn that mistakes are not the end of the world. You discover that you can recover, adjust, and try again. Each failure faced with courage teaches resilience, which is a deeper kind of confidence than success alone can give. Surrounding yourself with supportive people makes a difference. Encouragement from friends, family, or mentors can push you to take the first step when fear feels heavy. Positive voices remind you of your strengths when self-doubt grows loud. Over time, their belief in you helps you build belief in yourself. Confidence also grows when you stop comparing yourself to others. Someone else may run faster, speak better, or learn quicker, but confidence comes from comparing yourself today with yourself yesterday. If you are improving, even slowly, you are moving in the right direction. The final secret is consistency. Doing something once may give a quick burst of confidence, but doing it repeatedly builds lasting belief. Speaking in public one time helps a little. Speaking often makes you feel at home in front of an audience. Confidence built on action stays strong because it rests on experience, not just positive thinking. In the next chapter, we will learn how to stay consistent over time so progress does not stop after the first burst of energy, but keeps growing until goals become reality. Chapter 12. How to stay consistent over time. Starting something new feels exciting. The first day at the gym, the first page of a book, or the first week of studying every evening fills people with energy and hope. But many people lose that energy after a few days or weeks. The gym becomes empty, the book gathers dust, and the study routine breaks when life gets busy. Staying consistent over time is what separates people who only start from those who actually finish. Consistency matters because big goals need many small actions stacked together. One workout will not make you healthy, but months of workouts will. One study session will not make you an expert, but daily study will. Success is built from repeated effort, like bricks building a house one by one. The first secret to consistency is realistic expectations. Many people quit because they expect progress too fast. They want to see big changes in a week, and when results come slowly, they feel disappointed. Understanding that progress takes time helps you stay patient when changes seem small. Another secret is routine. Doing something at the same time each day turns it into a habit. The brain loves patterns. When you always study after dinner or run every morning, your brain starts expecting it automatically. Routine removes the daily question, "Should I do this now?" and replaces it with, "This is just what I do." Starting small helps too. Big goals can feel heavy, so people delay them. But promising yourself to read 1 page, do 5 push-ups, or study for 10 minutes feels easy. Often you do more once you start, because the hardest part is beginning. Small steps prevent the feeling of failure on busy or low-energy days, because even a little progress counts. Tracking progress keeps consistency alive. A calendar with marks for every day you finish your habit shows visible proof of success. People hate breaking a streak, so the chain of completed days motivates them to continue. Progress that you can see feels more real than progress you only imagine. Rewarding yourself matters as well. Celebrating small wins keeps energy high during long journeys. Finishing a week of workouts might earn you a fun weekend activity. Completing a month of daily writing might earn you a favorite meal. Rewards remind the brain that consistency brings pleasure, not just effort. Accountability helps too. Telling a friend, joining a group, or hiring a coach adds gentle pressure to stay on track. When someone else knows your goals, skipping them feels harder. People naturally want to appear reliable, so accountability strengthens consistency. Another trick is planning for obstacles. Life will always bring busy days, tired evenings, or unexpected problems. Consistent people prepare for these moments. They have backup plans like shorter workouts, quick study sessions, or simpler goals for tough days. This keeps the habit alive even when life gets messy. Focusing on identity builds long-term consistency. When you see yourself as a writer, a healthy person, or a disciplined student, you act to protect that identity. Missing a day feels strange because it does not match who you believe you are. Each action then becomes proof of your identity, making consistency feel natural instead of forced. Avoiding perfectionism also matters. Some people quit because they miss one day and feel like failures. Consistent people understand that missing once is normal. They simply return the next day instead of giving up completely. Consistency means coming back again and again, not being perfect every single time. Energy management supports consistency as well. Sleep, nutrition, and exercise give the body and brain strength to keep going. A tired, stressed person loses routines faster than someone who takes care of basic health. Finally, remembering the bigger purpose keeps motivation alive during slow periods. When progress feels boring, thinking about why you started, the better health, the dream job, the personal growth, reminds you that each small step matters in the long run. In the next chapter, we will explore how to beat perfectionism and analysis paralysis so you can keep moving forward without getting stuck trying to make everything perfect before acting. Chapter 13. Beating perfectionism and analysis paralysis. Perfectionism sounds like a good thing at first. Wanting to do your best, to get things right, and to aim for high standards seems positive. But perfectionism often turns into a trap. It makes people wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect skill before starting. As a result, they never begin. Analysis paralysis works the same way. People think so much, plan so carefully, and worry about every detail until they feel frozen. Action never happens because they are stuck in endless preparation. Perfectionism creates fear of mistakes. People imagine that one wrong step will ruin everything, so they wait until they feel completely ready. But the truth is, no one ever feels completely ready. Even experts make mistakes and learn as they go. Waiting for perfection stops progress because real learning happens during action, not before it. Analysis paralysis happens when the brain faces too many choices or too much information. Instead of picking one path and moving forward, people keep comparing options forever. They read more books, watch more videos, or ask more opinions until the moment to act disappears. The problem is not lack of knowledge, it is lack of decision. One way to beat perfectionism is to focus on progress, not perfection. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today? Instead of how can I make this perfect? Small steps create momentum, and momentum breaks fear. A rough first draft of an essay teaches more than waiting months for the perfect opening sentence. Another way is to set deadlines. Perfectionists often keep polishing work endlessly because there is no clear stopping point. A deadline forces you to finish and move on, even if things are not flawless. Real life rewards people who finish, not people who keep projects hidden while chasing perfection. Action also beats overthinking. The moment you take a step, reality gives feedback. You learn what works and what does not. Thinking alone gives no feedback, so the mind keeps spinning in circles. Acting teaches faster because mistakes guide improvement more than theories do. Lowering the starting barrier helps too. Instead of aiming for perfect, aim for good enough to begin. A student can write a simple outline before writing a full essay. A business owner can launch a small version of a product before the final design. Starting messy is better than not starting at all, because you can always improve along the way. Another trick is limiting choices. Too many options make decisions harder. Deciding to read one book instead of choosing from 10, or picking one time for exercise instead of comparing schedules all week, prevents decision fatigue. Simple choices free energy for action. Self-compassion also matters. Perfectionists often speak harshly to themselves when they make mistakes. This fear of self-criticism keeps them from trying new things. Treating yourself kindly, like a friend learning something new, makes action safer, because failure does not feel like a personal attack. Accountability partners help as well. When someone else expects you to finish by a certain date, you act instead of endlessly editing. Deadlines combined with accountability reduce the space for perfectionism to grow. In the next chapter, we will explore the importance of mindset in taking action. You will see how beliefs about effort, talent, and growth shape whether you move forward or stay stuck in fear and doubt. Chapter 14. The importance of mindset in taking action. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. It shapes how you interpret success, failure, challenges, and opportunities. When it comes to taking action, mindset decides whether you step forward or hold back. People with a strong, growth-focused mindset keep moving even when things get hard. People with a fixed, fear-driven mindset often stay stuck, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. A growth mindset means believing that skills, talents, and intelligence can improve with effort and learning. Someone with this mindset understands that mistakes are part of the process, not proof of failure. They see challenges as opportunities to grow instead of reasons to quit. For example, a student with a growth mindset who fails a test studies harder for the next one, believing improvement is possible. A student with a fixed mindset might give up, thinking they are simply not smart enough. The words people use about themselves often reveal their mindset. Saying, "I can't do this," closes the door to action. Saying, "I can't do this yet," leaves the door open for growth. That one word yet changes the whole story. It turns failure into a temporary step instead of a permanent label. Mindset also shapes how people see effort. Some believe that if something requires hard work, it means they lack talent. Others understand that effort is the path to mastery. Every expert in sports, art, science, or business reached success through years of practice, not instant perfection. Believing that effort creates skill makes people keep acting even when progress feels slow. Another part of mindset is how people handle criticism. A fixed mindset sees criticism as an attack and avoids it. A growth mindset sees it as information that can help them improve. Instead of feeling hurt, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" That attitude turns setbacks into teachers instead of enemies. Mindset even controls how people handle success. A fixed mindset often fears losing success because they see it as fragile. They worry about staying perfect. A growth mindset celebrates success, but keeps learning because they see skill as something that can always get better. The story you tell yourself shapes your mindset too. If you constantly repeat, "I'm lazy" or "I always fail," your brain begins to believe it. Changing the story to "I'm learning discipline" or "I'm improving every day" shifts focus from the past to the future, where change is possible. Surrounding yourself with people who have a growth mindset helps as well. Their attitude rubs off on you. Seeing others try, fail, learn, and eventually succeed reminds you that progress comes through persistence, not perfection. Mindset also influences how you see time. A fixed mindset wants fast results and quits when progress takes too long. A growth mindset expects progress to be slow but steady, so they keep acting even when success feels far away. Another key is curiosity. People with a curious mindset explore new ideas, try different approaches, and adapt when plans fail. Curiosity keeps action alive because it turns challenges into puzzles instead of roadblocks. Finally, mindset shapes resilience, the ability to recover from failure. A fixed mindset sees failure as the end of the story. A growth mindset sees failure as the middle of the story, with success still possible if they keep going. In the next chapter, we will bring everything together. You will learn how to create a life of momentum and progress, where action becomes natural, growth never stops, and goals turn into reality step by step. Chapter 15, Creating a Life of Momentum and Progress. Taking action once or twice feels good, but lasting success comes from building momentum, a sense of forward motion that keeps growing day after day. Momentum turns single actions into habits, habits into results, and results into a life filled with progress. It is the difference between starting something small and turning it into something life-changing. Momentum begins with a first step. No matter how small, a single push sets a heavy object rolling, and each new push makes it easier to keep moving. In life, the first study session, the first workout, the first brave conversation, all start the wheel of progress turning. Waiting for motivation or perfect timing keeps the wheel still. Action starts the motion, momentum keeps it alive. Consistency builds momentum. When you act regularly, progress begins to feel natural. The student who studies a little each day soon realizes they know far more than before. The runner who adds a few minutes each week suddenly notices they can run miles without stopping. Consistency takes the pressure off each single day, because success comes from the total effort over time, not one perfect moment. Momentum also grows when you celebrate progress. Too many people ignore their small wins because they only focus on the big goal. But every chapter written, every pound lost, every skill practiced adds up. Celebrating these steps gives your brain the reward it needs to stay excited for the next one. Another key to momentum is learning from mistakes quickly. People with momentum do not fear failure because they see it as part of growth. When something goes wrong, they adjust and keep moving instead of stopping for weeks. They treat failure like a teacher giving feedback rather than a judge giving punishment. Surrounding yourself with supportive people fuels momentum too. Friends, family, or mentors who encourage you create an environment where success feels normal. Positive voices make it easier to keep going when motivation dips or challenges appear. Momentum also comes from building systems, not just setting goals. Goals tell you where to go, systems keep you moving daily. A system might be exercising at the same time each morning, writing a page every evening, or reviewing progress every Sunday. Systems remove the need to decide over and over. They make action automatic. Purpose adds power to momentum. When actions connect to a bigger reason, health, family, learning, contribution, they feel meaningful. Meaning turns routines into mission. A student studying only for grades may quit when things get hard, but a student studying to build a future career keeps going because the goal matters deeply. Another secret is balance. Momentum does not mean working non-stop until you burn out. Rest, fun, and relaxation keep energy alive so you can continue for months and years instead of just days. A balanced life supports long-term progress because it prevents exhaustion from killing your drive. Over time, momentum creates identity. Each action becomes proof of who you are. A person who writes every day starts seeing themselves as a writer. A person who exercises regularly starts seeing themselves as an athlete. Identity built on consistent action makes quitting feel unnatural because it no longer matches who you believe you are. A life of momentum also inspires others. When people see you growing, learning, and improving, they feel motivated to start their own journeys. Your progress becomes a source of energy for friends, family, and even strangers watching quietly from the side. Most importantly, momentum creates hope. Each step forward shows that change is possible. The person who once felt stuck begins to dream bigger because they now believe in their ability to act. Hope built on action feels solid because it grows from real progress, not just wishes. As this audiobook comes to an end, remember that everything starts small. Big goals, strong habits, confidence, discipline, and growth all begin with one simple step taken today. Momentum builds when you keep taking those steps, no matter how tiny, until they carry you further than you ever imagined. Your life does not change in one leap. It changes slowly, steadily, with action after action, stacking up like bricks, building a house. One day you will look back and realize how far you have come, how much you have grown, and how powerful small, consistent actions truly are. The final lesson is this: do not wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Start small, but start. Keep going when it feels slow. Celebrate wins, learn from mistakes, and stay connected to your purpose. Over time, action turns into momentum, and momentum turns into a life filled with progress, growth, and success.